hear me out for a second, because I'm quite proud of this realization. We have the old era, which built infrastructure for the industry, right? Which is basically unsustainable for the individual because it transforms them into an operator, is viewed as a economic unit, right? Interchangeable units inside a bigger system, they have to operate, so on. Unsustainable. And the new era is leaving the industry aside and turning to the people, to the individual, and building the infrastructure for the individual as the individual needs it, right? The way individuals work, they operate, they live, and so on. And that means including all sorts of unscalable things, right? Building for the unrepeatable self. And that's possible because, boom. Okay? We have the old era, we have the new era. It's possible because this. And the race towards this already shows signs of this era actually becoming something real, right? Because if we think about it, the industry was created to match the need and the growing society and economy, right? And optimizing work, productizing it, reducing variations, and so on, is how you can create something at massive scale to fulfill the need of the growing society. And now this system is not for the humans, not for the individuals, was a adaptation, right? Before, after the war, and so on, an adaptation to meet the necessity of the growing society, economy, and so on, right? And people were treated as taken out of their work because their work wasn't scalable, right? Think about a shoemaker. Taken out of their work and put in the position of an operator to operate a production line doing their work, right? From, 10 units a week, for example, creating thousands of units for a week. That's perfect because the world needed. But it's unsustainable, right? And I have my arguments. But now, this is the the change. This is what makes this even possible, even more than something idealistic to think about, is because we can have the scale, we can have the infrastructure of the industry, but instead of people in positions of the operator, we can put AGI systems, right? We are creating AGI systems and we can put it in this position of the operator, and that way we can have all of this, we can have the scale, can have the services, We can have the products, the goods and services to keep the economy running and growing actually, without needing the human to be an operator and treated like an economical unit. Because AGI. And that means we can leave this aside and create infrastructure for the individual to, I don't know, this is everything they need to do what they want to do, how they want to do it. And even if that means to still contribute to the economy, to have economic agency and so on, right? We can build infrastructure to basically amplify their innate ability to be able to operate in extremely complex and massive systems, right? And that way they don't have to sacrifice their autonomy to be, right? They can they could say, I don't want to be an operator, I'm not an operator, right? I'm a human, I'm a person, I'm an individual. Yeah, I'm extremely tired, but this is it, right? And basically this infrastructure, I don't know, the research I've done so far, I don't know, no one knows actually where society is going and how it's going to look and so on. But what is clear is the systems we already built, right? The race towards AGI already shows already gives some resources to build this kind of infrastructure and to amplify the ability of the individual. And building this kind of infrastructure, a new ecosystem, a new foundation, a new way of working, a new way of contributing, is basically a new a sustainable infrastructure, necessary, vital actually for the individual in this transitional period, right? We don't know where we're gonna get this and make it real and plant it into the economy, but this is the direction. And creating this sort of infrastructure for the individual is the sustainable way of moving forward in this extremely complex world that's growing at a exponential rate, right? Complexity of the world and human capacity and the capacity to adapt, to change and absorb and so on, right? And all of this creates all the problems in the modern world. So kind of it. This is quite nice. Building the future.